This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not an offer or solicitation of an offer to buy or sell securities. SNN Network and Maj Suedan are not licensed brokers, broker-dealers, market makers, investment bankers, investment advisors, analysts, or underwriters. We do not recommend any companies discussed. We may buy, sell, short, cover securities in any company mentioned and may profit in the event those securities rise in value if we are long and fall if we are short. We recommend you consult with a professional investment advisor, broker, or legal counsel before purchasing or selling any securities referenced in this podcast. And Maj, last up on our investor pitches, who do we got here?
We got Kelvin Seetoh, also another individual you have on the Win the Crowd podcast. He hasn't been on yet, so I really love his Twitter feed and some of his thoughts and ideas on Twitter. So I'm really excited to hear his pitch.
So everybody enjoy. Kelvin, take it away.
Thank you, Maj. Thank you, Bobby, for inviting me to this small sharing session. And my name is Kelvin Seetoh, and on Twitter, you can find me on Slingshot Cat. And for today, I'm going to pitch this company called ClearPoint Neuro. And for full disclaimer, I actually own shares in this company. And if you would like to buy this share or sell this share, please consult a financial advisor. This is just for educational purpose only. So let's get straight into it right now. So to introduce the company to all of you, ClearPoint is actually a medical platform device company that enables therapies for the most complex neuro disorders with pinpoint accuracy. So in short, what does it do? It helps neurosurgeons to conduct their surgeries with precise accuracy so that the surgeries can go well and go very smoothly. And second is that the products are being used to perform deep brain stimulation procedures. And finally, this company has a patent portfolio of over 89 issued patents in the United States and over 184 worldwide patents. So let me just share with you the current products that they have. So there are some products that are one-off sale, such as the hardware, which refers to the head frame, the computer workstation, the compatible monitor, and also the software, right? But while it's a one-time sale, occasionally there are maintenance that's required, which forms part of the recurring sale. But what is really the sale? What is really the recurring sales that we are looking for is the accessories, right? Such as a smart frame, controller, and a cannula. So every time a procedure is being done, a new set of smart frame, controller, and cannula is being done. So it's essentially they are following the footsteps of this company called Intuitive Surgical, whereby they are adopting this razor and razor blade revenue model, where we think that the long-term revenue stream sources will be 15% from capital equipment and 85% from single-use disposable and services. So currently, ClearPoint therapy platform is being used in many areas. So first, I just want to talk about their platform. It's very compatible with all major scanners. So Siemens, GE, Philips, these are the common scanners that you see in the operating theaters in hospitals. And the second is that a lot of biotech companies who are attempting to solve some of the world's biggest neuro problems around the world. There are names like PTC Therapeutics. We have names like Lysogen and Charles River. And because they recognize that the value of ClearPoint is to provide that precise accuracy, and they decided to partner up with ClearPoint and to use them to deliver their drugs to the patient. So currently, right now, ClearPoint Technologies platform is already being used in some of the clinical trials already. Okay, so let's move on. So right now, if you look at them, one of the important things to monitor is actually their locations. So currently, they are in 60 centers. Centers could refer to hospitals as well in United States, Canada, and UE as well. So what I want to highlight over here is that if you take notice, right, they are currently in the UC San Francisco, they're in Mayo Clinic, they're in Johns Hopkins University. And these names are really important because these are the names that are the top 10 neuro surgery hospitals. So having a machine in all these hospitals is a form of validation that their technology right now is being used by the top neurosurgeons around United States, Canada, and UE as well. And what's more important is that we do not just look at it from the point of view of the company, but let's hear it from the neurosurgeons as well. So all of them have gave some of the comments about what ClearPoint could do for their procedures. So for example, if you look at the top right-hand corner, Dr. John mentioned that having ClearPoint is to assure accuracy was critical to successful ablation of the tumor. And in the middle is Dr. Mark Richardson. He says that, we are very concerned about changes in distance of millimeter or two. This can be critical, and we want that error to be in order of no more than a milliliter. So that's really, really no room for error, because just imagine where you are poking into the brain. If you poke the wrong nerve, that could actually create some long-term negative consequences for the well-being of the patient. So knowing where to knowing the location is really critical to get the drug to where the nerve is. All right. So if you look at these reviews, they are saying that ClearPoint has really that added benefit and advantages as compared to other competitors. So as we look at this business, we look at a few growth plans that they have. So number one is to work with more biotech companies to deliver drugs to the patients. And this is what we refer as the biologics and the drug delivery. And second is the deep brain stimulation navigation. So over time, they hope that, more hospitals will use ClearPoint as the platform to, to actually insert electrodes for the deep brain stimulation. And I'll talk about it later on. And the third thing is the new therapy devices. And finally is to expand the footprint, meaning to install more machines in more hospitals around the world. So let's talk about the first pillar of growth that they have. So over here, if you look at it, we have a lot of neuro diseases that we still do not have a cure for. For example, you talk about Parkinson's disease, you talk about glioblastoma, you talk about AADC. So today, a lot of biotech companies, they are attempting to solve this problem. So while they can actually create a drug, but they need a device to deliver the drug right into the brain, right? And not just any parts of the brain, but a precise part of the brain. And this is why they have chosen ClearPoint to be that delivery platform, right? ClearPoint is the platform that helps this biotech deliver the drug into the patient's brain. So if you look at addressable market, it's really huge. I think there's estimate of 1.5 billion market opportunity. So let's move on. Okay. So right now, these are common partners, PTC Therapeutics, Lysogen, Medicina as well. So as all of you know, a drug, once it hits phase 3, most likely it will be commercialized and it will become an official product that patient could use to solve the specific disease that they have. So in this case for PTC, right now they are in trial phase 3. So I think given some time, maybe in second half of this year, they might see a full commercialization. For Lysogen, I think it's right now it's phase 2 and 3, so it's ongoing and expected to be concluded in year 2022. Then you have Medicina as well, which is currently phase 2B. So what happens is that if any of these 3 or if all of them goes through, and guess what, the patient that could actually use their drugs would definitely increase dramatically, and as a result, they would order more cannula, more smart frames controller from ClearPoint. So ClearPoint does not have to spend a lot of sales and marketing, but they will just get a big burst of orders because all these drugs are being approved by FDA. Okay, so the second pillar that I want to talk about is the deep brain navigation. So today, there are a lot of neurological disorders such as epilepsy, tumor, and also Parkinson's disease. So how do you actually solve them, right? So today, unfortunately, we do not have a long-term solution. We have only a short-term solution, which is implanting electrodes within certain parts of the brain. But how do you pinpoint which are the areas to actually plant the leads? Well, you need a ClearPoint machine to do that, which is why ClearPoint is the one that's providing the navigation for the neurosurgeons so that they know exactly what are the areas to actually plant these leads as well. Okay. So at the end of the day, they can do it while the patient is awake or asleep. So traditionally, they are doing it awake. But just imagine you as a patient having your brain being open while you're awake. That is not really something nice to talk about. So with ClearPoint, it enables a patient to do a sleep deep brain stimulation navigation, and I think that's actually more beneficial for the patient and for the hospital as well. So you look at the total addressable market for deep brain stimulation. I think currently ClearPoint has 7% market share. So this goes to show that there is a huge market out there for ClearPoint to penetrate even further. And I want to talk a little bit more about the laser ablation, which is a new product that they're creating. It is to remove tumors, right? So it's just a laser prop that goes into a targeted part of the brain and using heat to destroy the unwanted cell. Okay, so this is a product that they're releasing in the next few quarters. And I think that in this product, if they're able to do that, then per procedure they're going to earn a lot more money. So for example, right now they're just earning $6,000, which is performing the navigation procedure. But if they are providing the laser as well, then they could potentially earn about $18,000 per case. So that's kind of increasing the revenue that they're going to earn per procedure. All right, so let's move on. So I think the global footprint that they are expecting to grow is that currently they are in US, but they want to grow in Europe. And I think right now they also want to have the capacity to cover approximately over 3,000 cases per year. So that's a huge increase because currently they are just managing somewhere below 1,000 cases, but increasing it by 3 times, that's really huge. All right. So competitors, I think there are a few. One of them is ROSA. But ROSA, I think the downside is that you have to drill 15 holes into the patient brain. Just think about it, right? 15 holes, that's a lot, and that may not be something desirable from the perspective of the patient. There's also another competitor called Medtronic, which is they have this stealth machine, but as we can see is that they have some problems with it, and there's some concerns from FDA about their product registration feature. So I don't think they are really strong competitors to ClearPoint right now because they have certain aspects which pale in comparison, with ClearPoint Neuro. We talk about the management team. I think Joseph Burnett came in somewhere 2 years ago, close to 2 years ago, and he turned around the company. So right now he has about 3.4% ownership of the company. But what's notable about this gentleman is that when he came into the business, he also brought along his team members from his previous companies. So you can see that in September, August, July, May, he started to bring in his own people into the company. And since then, the business has transformed dramatically, right? In terms of the investor presentations and in terms of the execution ability as well, okay? Valuation, if we look at it currently because of COVID-19, I think the cases that they have done have dropped quite a little bit, but it was bound to increase and recover. And for the biologics, you can see that for the year 2020, it have doubled, right? Have grown more than 100%. I can tell you there are a lot of clinical partners that are dying to use ClearPoint technology because ClearPoint gives them the assurance that the drug will be delivered and administered to the right parts of the brain. So currently they have 25 clinical partners that are working with, and they are likely to expand to 75 partners. What I mean is that right now they have 25 partners, but on top of that, there are 75 potential partners. So just think about the kind of pipeline of customers they have and the kind of visibility and revenue growth that they will expect to receive in the next few years. All right. I think we talk about the market opportunity. Right now, there's more than 55,000 potential neurosurgical procedures that's doing per year. So I think ClearPoint in the long term should be able to capture 10% of the market. And if they're able to do that, I do really see that potentially they are going to earn about $76.3 million in revenue. And also, should any of their clinical trials go through, what I mean is their customers' clinical trial goes through, in terms of revenue potential, in terms of operating profit potential, it's going to be there as well. So we do some illustration. If they capture 10% or 20% of the total addressable market, what kind of revenue they're going to receive, what kind of operating profit that they're going to receive as well. So in terms of the modeling, we are assuming a 30% operating profit margin. All right. Okay. So now let's talk about the valuation, right? So right now, if I'm just looking at the functional navigation revenue, the potential of 76.3 million, we do think that currently the business should be worth about, should have an enterprise value of $686.7 million. But what I'm saying is that in this business, because of the biologics, it represents a lot of embedded call options, or rather we can call it the moonshots. So what I'm saying is that if any of the partners such as PTC, Lysogen, or Medicina goes through, right, and let's say they just capture 10% of the total addressable market, we potentially can see that this business could worth up to $1 billion, right? So now I've come to the end of my short pitch on Neuro ClearPoint. I hope you have enjoyed this short sharing. Thank you, Bobby and Marsh.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not an offer or solicitation of an offer to buy or sell securities. SNN Network and Maj Soueidan are not licensed brokers, broker-dealers, market makers, investment bankers, investment advisors, analysts, or underwriters. We do not recommend any companies discussed. We may buy, sell, short, cover securities in any company mentioned and may profit in the event those securities rise in value if we are long and fall if we are short. We recommend you consult with a professional investment advisor, broker, or legal counsel before purchasing or selling any securities referenced in this podcast.